I traveled to a mountainous area in central Bolivia. 200 million years of history were layered in strata, creating a masterpiece. It was land of great life that embraces the people and nature that set roots in it. Now I am headed for Uros, an island of reeds on Lake Titicaca, and the origin of the ancient people of the Andes. We take a dangerous road that could lead to death. The people here had to become strong to survive. I am off to learn about their long-standing survival tactics. Bolivia is situated on the opposite side of the globe from Korea. It was a 36-hour flight through Los Angeles in the US and Lima in Peru. I have arrived in Bolivia, a country right in the middle of South America like its heart. Today I am taking Yungas Road, the most dangerous road in the world that connects the capital city of La Paz and the western highlands of the Andes. The plateau is 4,000 meters above sea level. Tall buildings are built along the brown valley that is closer to the sky than the earth. I arrive in La Paz, the biggest city in Bolivia with a population of over 1.5 million people. I can tell you how I feel in one word before I leave for my first destination. First, I have to look for a ride to get to Yungas.
죽음의 계곡이라고 불리는 굉장히 위험천만한 도로를 갈 건데 지금 저희가 타고 있는 차로는 좀 위험해가지고 현지 분들이 좀 모시는 좀 안전한 차량을 지금 구하려고 저희가 이동 중이거든요.
I find a bus stop that is like an intercity bus terminal in Korea. Many locals leave from here because it is the main bus terminal to get to the mountainous regions in the western part of Bolivia. One interesting fact is that they rent out personal cars to people.
우리가 타고의 차예요.
Él tiene que ir él aquí adelante. Vaya porque él no entiende ya.
We even hire a local driver.
지금 좀 기대도 되고 또 약간 겁도 나고 길이 워낙 험하다 그래가지고요. 일단 한번 가봐야 될 것 같아요.
I start my journey with mixed emotions of anticipation and fear. However, my fear starts growing as our driver Pedro shares a story with us. He says that 100 people or so die accidental deaths annually on Yungas Road. He adds that I will understand why it is called Death Road once I see it. Also, there is a place we have to stop by before we go down Death Road.
여기가 엘꿈브레라는 마을이고요. 죽음의 길 가는 입구 정도 될까요? 여기서부터 저희가 계속 죽음의 길을 따라서 내려가게 될 거예요.
A cross stands before an altar. I see locals who are giving burnt offerings of coca leaves and wool they have prepared. They are praying to Pachamama, the goddess of the earth, before driving down Death Road.
Es muy peligroso el camino a la muerte.
Sí, muy peligroso aquí. Es cumbre. Aquí se viene a pasar la visita, para la salud. Aquí caminen bien, para que estudien. Para eso estoy veniendo yo aquí.
They spray alcohol over the burnt offerings. This is their way of asking the goddess to keep the earth rich. It shows their hopes of traveling on Death Road safely. Bolivians had to ask the gods for a blessing of safety before crossing the only road that allows them to go past the canyon in the Andes. To this day, they risk their lives as they travel the dangerous road. The road makes no exception for tourists. The road is less than 3 meters wide. The guardrails that provided some safety disappeared one by one. I can begin to understand why it is called Death Road instead of its official name, Yungas Road. Pedro's hands tighten around the steering wheel. To make matters worse, we meet a heavy downpour. Yungas Road is a road that leads from a plateau of 4,700 meters high to a dizzying road that descends to 1,200 meters high. The weather is drastically different according to each area. Merely traveling on it is a danger to your life. This road was made in the 1930s. Prisoners of Paraguay were brought during the war between Paraguay and Bolivia to construct it. The road was completed after taking the lives of many. What's more surprising is that people cross the canyon, relying on a single rope. A villager offers to show me, and I follow him.
아우, 가파르네.
He says this is a road used by the villagers. Not only is Yungas Road dangerous, but the roads of the village are too. We walk for 30 minutes or so. There are several wires. Tires are tied at the end of the wires.
아, 여기. 이건 충격 흡수하려고 이렇게 타이어를 여기다 대놓으셨네요. 그리고 터지지 말라고 이렇게 타이어를 대는 것 같아요. 아이고. 요거 타고 이렇게 쭉 가는 거구나. 와, 길 진짜
Paulo tells me a surprising thing as I look at it with curiosity. The wires are 500 meters long.
Este cable resiste hasta un buen peso. Una persona igual pasa por esta persona.
지금 철사 세 가닥이거든요. 이걸로 지금 사람들이 왔다 갔다 했다는데 저는 아직도 믿기진 않네요. 저도 한번 안전만 보장되면 한번 내려가 보고 싶은데 제가 보기엔 너무 아찔해 보이고 안전장치가 일단 되어 있진 않아서. No.
It was installed a long time ago, so people aren't using it until renovations are made. Currently, it is only used to transport goods.
Vamos.
Ya, vamos.
This doesn't seem like the only one. Not far from the first wire we saw, we see more wires are installed. The wires connect cliffs dozens of meters high and 200 meters apart. The sound of the wires rubbing against one another is terrifying.
Hoy día puede pasar hoy día, pueden venir de Corea. Hay que esperar para tarde bajar. Pasan aquí. Hay más abajo es igual.
There are 20-some families living in the Yungas Valley. The villagers didn't have any transportation to get across the valley, so they installed the wires, which added up to 10 or so. Although someone died here a few years ago, the villagers still use it. A van comes and stops on the side of the road. 2 children and 2 adults get off. They unload everything from their van. Then they wrap up their van with a waterproof cover, as if they're used to this task. I am curious why, so I ask them.
¿Por qué está cubriendo?
No, pues, mañana,
Para
porque
mañana.
voy a viajar el día dentro de una semana.
This family lives on the other side of the valley. They are also the owners of the wires we saw earlier. They are coming back from grocery shopping in the city.
Ahí está.
A moment later, they tie their belongings to the wires. Then he gives it a hard shove. I'm worried it might fall off on its way to the other side. Amanda says she has been using the wires for the past 10 years. Is she worried too?
Claro, primera vez tenía miedo, pero ahora ya no.
It's her turn.
No se necesita nada de eso, ni así no hay que pasar.
I watch to see how people use it. They wrap themselves in cloth and tie it to a hook to hang on. It's the same for luggage and people.
De las bolas, ¿no?
¿Ese bolso negro iba a usar?
No. ¿Ya? Aquí quedó.
They cross the cliff without any safety equipment. I can't believe what I am witnessing. My heart is still pounding, but Hobart tells me not to worry because it has a safety device of its own.
Y este sirve para colgarse el gancho y para correr. Saca y se coloca así. Y de ahí se engancha por acá. Puedes partir. Así. Y así se puede armar. Y así se puede venir. Y si no tienes el trapo, te puede quemar las manos. Te manchas.
Adults may be able to learn how to use the wires, but how will this young child get across?
Ah, no, como te dije, mi amada, aquí me 600 vuelos.
The way home for these people is off of a cliff.
Puta.
How does the father feel about having to share this dangerous and life-risking moment with his young daughter? He constantly checks his daughter's expression.
¿Está bien? ¿Otro lado? ¿Así? ¿Así?
The lives of these people depend on a short time of just 30 seconds. However, those seconds that tick by in the air must be like hell and feel more like 3 hours or more. Why do they risk their lives and act courageously at this dangerous canyon? And why don't they leave this land that looks so barren? The next morning, I decide to visit the village on the other side of the valley. There is a way to get to the other side without hanging on a wire. There is a bridge that connects the 2 sides of the valley. However, this path doesn't look very safe either.
이게 지금 물살이 엄청 세고 다리가 흔들거려가지고 똑바로 걷고 있는데도 이렇게 이쪽으로 가는 지금 착시 현상이 일어나요.
Nevertheless, if I have to choose between the two, it would definitely be this bridge. However, villagers prefer the wires that only take 30 seconds to cross, as opposed to a difficult walk across the bridge that takes over 2 hours.
아, 집이 나왔다. 다 왔다. 아, 진짜 전망 좋은 집에 사시네.
Our destination is way above this house that is located atop a high valley.
여기 또 다른 집이 있네.
This man must be the owner of the house.
Hola.
¿Cómo está? Buen día.
Buenos días.
I am thankful when he serves us a ripe papaya, saying we traveled a long and difficult journey.
회를 되게 잘하시네.
Listo para comer.
네, 들고 먹으면 돼요? 저 다 먹어요? 고맙습니다. 그렇죠? 진짜 달아요. 되게 잘 익어가지고. 진짜 달아요. 약간 향은 있는데 달아요. 그렇죠.
He has green leaves laid out in his yard. They are better known as the raw material for cocaine, but Bolivians like chewing on coca leaves.
Buenos días. 여기 지금 코카잎 따고 계시는구나.
His wife is picking coca leaves, which resembles Korean women picking green tea leaves in a field. Storing methods for the leaves are also similar.
한 번 더 그걸 묶으면은 공간이 생기는구나.
Mi doblo. Lo agarro.
vale.
Y trabajo, empiezo a cosechar.
이렇게.
The owners of the house are as busy as bees harvesting coca leaves.
와, 진짜 넓게 있네요. 꽃가밭이.
Sí.
sí.
The hills are covered with green coca leaves. Yungas has the perfect climate and land to grow coca, and has been the main coca plantation of Bolivia for a long time. This is the reason why the villagers can't leave Yungas.
Okay, gracias. Gracias. Chao, chao. Chao, chao. Chao.
Que le vaya bien a ustedes, que sigan adelante siempre con
Ya,
ese
gracias.
empeño.
Chao. Chao.
I say goodbye to the villagers of Yungas Valley and head back. Thanks to their warm hospitality, Death Road will be remembered as a road of warmth. I leave it behind and head for Copacabana, a city that is on the border of Bolivia and Peru. Bolivia, a landlocked country in the center of South America, has a port city. It is located at an elevation of 3,800 meters above sea level. It is Copacabana, which lies in the embrace of Lake Titicaca, a lake 1,000 times the size of Yeouido in Korea. It is the city where the Incan civilization thrived with its foundation in Lake Titicaca. The women have their hair braided and are wearing interesting-looking hats. They are the Aymara, descendants of the Incan Empire and native to the Andes.
전통 복장 입으신 할머니들이 쭉 앉아서 지금 물건을 팔고 계세요. 아이고. 제가 좋아하는 그 모자도 다 쓰고 계시네요.
Many of the old women are carrying something in colorful blankets on their backs.
¿Cosa?
25.
5.
The pattern of the Incan Empire is on the blankets used by the Aymara women to carry goods or a baby on their backs. The empire is gone, but its traces are left within the Incan tradition. Embracing all this silently is Lake Titicaca on the endless horizon.
아, 이게 바다가 아니라 호수라니. 끝이 안 보이는 건 둘째치고 물빛이 어쩜 이렇게 바닷물보다 더 파란지.
Ancient Incans regarded Lake Titicaca as the place where everything began. They think of it as the origin of all. The villagers caught fish in Lake Titicaca. They are rather small in size. Big fish can't live in Lake Titicaca because of the high elevation. Just then,
Allá puede entrar, después truchas, fish, truch, con esto allá,
Yes.
¿sí?
Yes.
Okay?
Sí.
Okay?
Okay.
Fabian, a fisherman from Copacabana, says that he wants to show me trout as big as a grown man's arm. I follow him.
Gracias.
Gracias.
A few rows of the oars in the small boat take us to a net full of something. It is a trout farm owned by Fabian. Trout that are large and strong fill the entire net. I can tell why he wanted to show off his fish.
Esta es la trucha. Trucha.
The trout are able to grow well in Lake Titicaca, where it is hard to find big fish because of their ability to grow faster in cold water. The high elevation of Lake Titicaca makes it cold and creates the perfect environment for them to dwell.
Pequeños, grandes, estos. Chiquititos crecer así. Sí, crecer.
Lake Titicaca has become a good home for the trout. I am on my way to visit the Uros Islands that have been stimulated with the strength to survive from the lake. The boat goes further toward the center of the lake. A thick forest of reeds creates a natural waterway. I see a small boat that is transporting reeds along the waterway. The reeds that are all over the lake are an extraordinary sight.
We call in the Aymara language totora. Totora. It's very important plant for the people of the Uros. Uros people. Because they used this plant for made the island, made a house, made a boat. Also, they can use it when it's very dry for cooking, like a fire.
We follow the course for another 10 minutes or so. People pass us on a boat made of reeds. People wave enthusiastically, standing in front of their homes made of reeds. We arrive at Uros Islands, a group of artificial islets made of reeds on Lake Titicaca, at an elevation of 3,800 meters. It is interesting and slightly scary.
Is totora stable?
No, no. When it's broken from the base, from the root, not it's move it.
저기 안정적이진 않대요. 막 저기 안에 이제 밑에 뿌리가 좀 잘못되면은 푹 가라앉기도 하나 봐요. 드디어 갈 때.
The floor is approximately 3 meters thick.
진짜 갈 텐데요, 토토라.
This is totora.
토토라.
Yeah.
오, 진짜 stable.
Yes, it's stable.
The entire island shows me that I am standing on reeds.
토토라. 다 이 갈 때 그 토토라로 만들어져 있어요. 여기 지금 식당인 것 같은데 식당도 토토라, 이 밑에 지역도 토토라. 이 집도 다 토토라예요. 와, 진짜 신기하다. 와, 여긴 꼭 방문해 볼 만한데요.
The total population is 1,000. There are small islands with a single family living on it, to bigger ones with 300 people. The floating islands are made up of some 40 islets that are gathered together like one. The Uru people, who were the lowest class of the Incan Empire, moved into the lake some 500 years ago. They had nowhere else to run but to this lake when Spain attacked. The Uru people built their lives and have been living here ever since.
So new leader, right?
Yes, the new leader for the next year. Hola, es el nuevo.
지금 오늘 새로 당선되신 새로운 리더예요. 와우, yeah. Congratulations. 이 마을 전체를 대표하는 분이 되는 거예요. 그러니까 뭐 밖에서 무슨 뭐 행사를 진행한다거나 뭐 아무튼 이분께 모든 걸 거쳐야 되는 거죠. 근데 너무 운이 좋게도 오늘 딱 당선되신 분을 저희가 만나게 됐어요. 이것도 정말 영광이네요. Yeah, it's honor. It's honor.
Yes, it's an honor.
The new leader, who is on cloud 9, sings for us. And surprisingly, it is a Korean children's song.
어디로 가느냐 깐청깐청 뜨면서 어디로 가느냐
He learned it a few years ago when someone from Korea visited.
꼬막놈이 나와 이숙이숙 저희 간다 이숙이숙 저희 간다
감사합니다.
감사합니다 안녕
와, 지금 해가 지고 있는데 여기는 정말 해 지는 모습까지도 예술인데요.
My first day on the Uros Islands is ending with a sunset on the lake. The next day, my morning at the Uros Islands starts off with sights around the lake that were hidden in the dark showing up. I climb up to an observatory out of curiosity to see the first facet of the island as it starts a new day. The island is covered in reeds from the ground to the roofs of houses. The scenery I wasn't able to see yesterday fill my eyes.
와, 이 정말 이게 장관이네요. 이게 멋져서 장관이 아니라 너무 특이한 풍경이라서 장관이에요. 지금 갈대 위에서 사람들이 지금 집을 짓고 살아가고 있다는 것 자체가 너무 신기한데요.
Today, they are repairing the island. Reeds are stacked up to 3 meters below the surface of the water. The reeds underwater rot if left for too long, so they need to be changed every 15 days. It is work done on all the islands, because without it, the island would sink.
All the family working this island for living all together. Usual, they made this island, put the root base. The root base is that. The root base, and that one is come to floating on the up, and they looking and bring together to this place.
You can see the reeds that are supporting the weight of time underwater if you look closely. I see roofs of different colors than that of the homes.
이제 지금 보이는 노란 지금 지붕을 가진 건물들이 다 초등학교래요. 그러니까 여기 섬에 살고 있는 그 꼬마들이 다니는 초등학교고 지금 건물별로 그 학년이 다른 거예요. 뭐 저 건물은 1학년, 요 건물은 2학년, 뭐 뒤에 보이는 건물은 3학년 이런 식으로 이제 진행이 되고 있고요. 그다음에 이 초등학교를 졸업하고 나면은 이 섬 안엔 중학교가 없어가지고 중학교는 이제 도시로 나가야 된대요.
Boats are the only means of transportation that help the villagers get from one island to another at the Uros Islands that consist of some 40 islets. A school boat stops by each house to pick the children up for school. Even the schoolyard is made of reeds instead of grass. Their lunch plates are washed in the lake water through a hole made in the ground. The rice and side dishes are all made with the ingredients grown and caught by the parents at the lakeside. They are cut off from the privileges of modern civilization, but the children grow up learning the way of life on a lake.
Es muy importante para nosotros, porque ellos son los futuros de la isla. Cuando ellos van a ser jóvenes, mayores, ellos son los que van a dirigir la isla de los unos. Por eso los niños son muy importantes para nosotros.
Like children in mountainous villages who play in the hills and fields, the children here go about, rowing boats in the lake. This heavenly scene is much like the coziness and warmth I felt beneath my feet when I first stepped foot on the island. I will never forget how it felt, even after I leave this place.
그러니까 물 위에 있는 마을이 45개가 넘는다고 하거든요. 그 인구도 1,200명이 넘고 그런 사실만으로도 굉장히 독특하네요. 정말 그 여행을 다녀보면은 정말 다양한 삶이 있는 것 같아요. 오케이, 자, 오케이.
Espagara. Aqui sim, campo.
Ciao.
Like the thick layer of reeds built upon the island, the lake has lasted a great amount of time. The people live a poor but unselfish life. The water in the lake I see flows solely for them.